In the name of Allah, the compassionate, the most merciful, praise to Allah. Assalamu alaikum everybody. Welcome to Mwalimu Bora. Welcome to our continuous biology lessons. We never had our lessons for a number of days because of some technical problems, but we are back. We are back on track to probably pick from where we stopped in regards to the Form 4 biology syllabus. In our previous lessons, we did discuss and successfully completed and covered support and movement in plants and animals. Support and movement in plants and animals, alhamdulillah, is fully covered. Some students contacted us and we discussed some questions with them by phone call, of course. Some of them through WhatsApp and other social sites. And we gave students time to deliberate and discuss and advise us on which topic to start next, the Form 4 candidates. A number of students were for the idea of reception, response, and coordination. Because genetics, where they said that the evolution are the first two topics, and probably they covered it before the COVID-19 pandemic started. And therefore, going by the request of the students, today our lesson will be reception, response, and coordination. This is the third topic of Form 4. Sometimes we call it sensitivity. Reception, response, and coordination, we sometimes call it sensitivity. Yeah, let's call it sensitivity. This is one of the topics about the characteristics of a living organism. In Form 1, we discussed the characteristics of a living organism. They were 8. In Form 1, we discussed the nutrition. Form 2, we discussed the gaseous exchange, reception, and excretion. We came to Form 3, and then we discussed the reproduction, growth, and development as characteristics of a living organism. In Form 4, we have locomotion, the topic we just did, and then we also have sensitivity. So this is one of the topics that you are introduced to while you are Form 1 as characteristic of a living organism. Reception, response, and coordination. As we will discuss, of course, today it will be the introductory part. I will not be doing the body part of it, we just introduce and probably definition of terms and terminology. When we start the topic, it's good that we orient ourselves with some of the terminologies that we might meet or come across within this particular topic. But for our topic, reception, response, and coordination, reception means receiving. An organism is passive. An organism receives something from the environment. Something from the environment. That's something we will discuss it. After perceiving that, the organism responds. The organism reacts to whatever it has perceived. And then this reaction has to be coordinated in an orderly, in an organized manner, so that an appropriate or the desired response is eventually evoked or elicited. I will discuss the definition of terms. For example, if I say definition of terms, some of the terms that we need to know is the sensitivity itself. Sensitivity is also called irritability. It's also called irritability. Some may call it responsiveness. Yeah, responsiveness. What is it? Sensitivity is the ability to detect. Is the ability to detect and respond to changes in the environment. to changes in the environment. Yeah. One of the characteristics of a living organism, one of the distinguishing features of a living organism from a non-living thing is the sensitivity or the irritability part. Irritability is where living organisms are aware of what is happening in their surrounding. If there are changes in the environment, the change could be thermal change or change in temperature. The change could be change in the direction of light or change in the intensity of light, change in humidity, and something like that. So an organism, a living organism, has the ability of detecting, ability of being aware of what is happening in this environment. That one is not enough. The organism, when it detects that there is a change in the environment, the organism will respond and react to that particular change. I will discuss more about that, but I'm saying sensitivity is the ability of living organisms to detect. Yes? Ability of living organisms to detect and respond to changes in the environment. Good. That this is terminology number one. Number two, the other term that you have to know is stimulus. 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 In plural, stimulus. In plural, we call it stimuli. In plural, call it stimuli with L-I. This is change in the conditions of the environment. This is change in the conditions of the environment. This is change in the conditions of the environment, which brings about a change in the activity of an organism. Which brings about a change in the activity of an organism. Stimulus, this is a change. It is a variation in the conditions of the environment, which now, you see, stimulus is about change in the environment. When the parameters or when aspect of the climate or aspect of the environment change, then the body of a living organism will detect that there is a change that has occurred. There is a change that has occurred, and therefore the organism will also try to adjust whatever it has been doing. The organism will also change its activity. This is a change, stimuli or stimulus is change in the conditions of the environment. If there is a change in the condition of the environment, this change in the environment will eventually bring about a change in the activity of an organism itself. A change in the activity of an organism itself. Environment, now when I'm talking about environment, we can have two environments. We have environment outside our body, whatever we call external environment. When I say environment outside our body, I mean the climatic conditions, changes that may occur in the environment, in the external environment. This could be a change in temperature. Yes, the temperature may vary from being low to a moderate temperature to a very high or extreme temperature that our body cannot bear. That's one. The change could be change in the direction of light. Is the light coming from this direction or this direction, or the light is unidirectional? It all depends. Again, the changes or the variation could be about humidity, amount of water vapor in the atmosphere. How is it? Low or high? Then the organism, depending on what's happening in the environment, the organism will also have to adjust itself. The environment could be within our body, whatever I call internal environment. What is happening within your cells or within the tissue fluid that are surrounding your cells, then is what I'm calling internal environment. Like for those of you, you must have done it, you did it under homeostasis. When you are doing excretion under homeostasis, yes, you did it under homeostasis about the internal environment. Now, when I talk about internal environment, I mean changes that occur in the internal body temperature. We say our internal body temperature is regulated around 37 degrees Celsius. There's a range above or below which is also acceptable. But now if the temperature goes up, if the temperature shoots above the 7 degree to 50 degree, it comes down to around 12 degrees Celsius, that is change in the internal temperature. Then if there's change in that internal environment, of course, then our body has to do something about it. And you did it under homeostasis, thermal regulation. When the temperature goes up, how will our body do? If the temperature goes down, how will the body do? You remember what happens, the vasodilation, the vasoconstriction, the erectile pili muscle contracting or the erectile pili muscle relaxing, making the hair on our skin surface to either lie flat on the body surface or to stand erect. That one now comes with the amount of air that can be traveled, air being a bad conductor of heat, then it may act as an insulator, something like that. You are talking about the reduction or increment in the activities that are taking place within our body, like the receptions. I mean like respiration, of course, like respiration by production of some hormones. Yes, we discussed about a number of things, and it is more of homeostasis. The changes in the internal environment is like changes in the level of glucose. If the level of glucose or the level of sugar within our body goes up or down, then it has to be met by a corrective mechanism that will restore the deviation back to normal. Yes, we always say at a normal situation, the level of glucose in our body should be 80 milligrams of glucose per 100 cubic centimeter of blood. But if that is not maintained, then it is a problem, and it is a change within our internal environment, and therefore our body has to respond to that. The changes within could be build up or concentration of gaseous waste product, like if the level of carbon dioxide goes up, our body has to react to that and need to do some change to it, of course. If there is change in the level of osmotic pressure, something. Okay, what I'm saying is stimulus, this is change in the condition of the environment, which brings about a change in activity of an organism. The way I've discussed it, stimulus, it can be external stimulus or internal. Yes, stimulus could be external or internal. Yes, and therefore let's discuss external stimulus. External stimulus. These are of course external stimulus. These are of course changes that occur outside our body. Yes, these are changes that occur outside our body. We need to know what are some of external stimulus that may bring about response in an organism. Some external stimulus that bring about response. In an organism. That bring about response in an organism. Include, We want to know some of the external stimuli that may make an organism to change its activity or make an organism to respond. Include changes in temperature, include of course temperature, yes, changes in temperature, changes in the direction, changes in the direction, changes in the direction or variation in light intensity, variation of light intensity, variation of light intensity or variation of light direction, of course. Yeah, can also add here direction. We can also have changes in the humidity. Yeah, some of the things that may bring about also some of the external stimulus that may make an organism to respond by the pH, yes, level of salinity or alkalinity, pH, presence or absence of predators, presence or absence of predators, and then the list is endless. And this goes on. So some of the external stimulus. What is external stimulus? External stimulus are changes that occur outside our body. Some of the changes that occur outside our body that may make an organism to change its activity, then are variation or changes in the direction of light, changes in the intensity of light, temperature variation, humidity variation, the level of pH, presence or absence of predators, or we can say concentration of mineral salts, Those are some of the things that can, of course, bring about. Those are some of the external variations. What are some internal variations? Internal variations, or I mean internal stimulus. Internal stimulus. Of course, I said, it's my pen. Alright, good. Stimulus. We said stimulus. Internal stimulus are changes within our body. These are changes within our body. These are changes within our body. Thank you. These are changes within our body. So now, what are some internal environment, some internal stimulus, that make an organism to respond. Good. Some internal stimulus that make an organism to respond are changes in internal temperature, and changes in internal temperature. Good. Changes, of course, in the level of glucose. Concentration of carbon dioxide. Yeah, etc. These are some of the things also when there is change in the temperature. For example, if I take you back to homeostasis, this is normal. Yes, the normal temperature is around 37 degrees Celsius, like that. But this temperature is not always maintained. Sometimes the temperature goes up to around, maybe say, 50 degrees Celsius. Sometimes it goes down to around 20 degrees Celsius. So whenever this deviation happens, deviation above or below the normal, then it must be made by a corrective mechanism to restore the deviation back to normal, of course. If the temperature is 50, bring it back to 37 degrees Celsius. If it has gone down to 20, boost it and bring it back to 37 degrees Celsius. Now, when these changes occur, the internal temperature either goes up or down, then our body does something within it. It also changes its activity, it does something, and therefore it brings the deviations back to normal. Same to level of glucose. Yes? For a normal person, we say the level of glucose is around 80 milligrams of glucose per 100 cubic centimeter of blood. If that is not maintained, of course, again, it will also cause the organism to respond in order to make the deviations go back to normal. So these are also some of the things. Good. So this is about stimulus, types of stimulus. We have external stimulus and we also have internal stimulus. Before now I wrap this, the third thing that we have to know is response. Response. Yes? The third term that we have to define is response. What is response? And then we say response. Response is change of activity by an organism. Is change in activity. Is change in activity. Change in activity by an organism or part of its body, due to reception or due to perception of stimulus, due to perception or due to reception of stimulus. Yeah. We define what sensitivity is as ability of this organism to detect and respond to changes in the environment appropriately. Then stimulus, changes in the conditions of the environment that brings about or makes an organism to change its activity. Then stimulus could either be external stimulus, meaning changes taking place outside our body, or changes that are related to changes or variation in the climatic conditions. Of course. Like that. In the climatic condition. And then we also have internal body, internal stimulus. That means changes that are taking place within our body. Example of changes in internal temperature. What about now reception? You see, it is not enough. The organism detects that there is a change. But that's what is not enough. The organism has to respond and react to that particular change. For example, if you have a piece of burning charcoal here, a piece of burning charcoal here, and then you place your hand. Yes, it is hot, of course, and it destroys your body tissue and your body cells, and you feel a lot of pain. You detect that this thing is injurious, this thing is harmful, and it is damaging you. Then when you receive and detect that this thing is hot, will you continue still placing your hand on it? Will you never rub your hand on the piece of burning charcoal? Of course no. What you will do is that you will withdraw your hand away from the source of heat. Yes. Or from the source of pain. You will withdraw your hand. That withdrawal of hand is what we are calling now response. Then we say the organism has responded, or the organism has reacted to this particular stimulus. In that particular case, the piece of the burning charcoal is the stimulus. Then when you place your hand and you withdraw your hand, that one now is what I'm calling response. And I will give you more examples so that you will understand what sensitivity is, what stimulus is, and also what response is. What I'm saying in just by definition is change that occur in an organism. The change could be the whole organism changing its activity, or part of the organism changing its activity. And this changes is due to perception, due to reception of stimulus. It is the stimulus that is making the organism to change its activity. And I will start by giving some examples so that we draw some examples so that we can be able to understand this. When I'm talking about external stimulus, Some of the external stimulus, I talked about presence or absence of predators. And here now facilitating a biology lesson. If now suddenly a lion appears here, will I continue teaching this content? Of course not. Of course not. Of course I will have to either do two things as dictated by nature. Of course it is it's something regulated by the adrenaline hormone. It is either fight or flight. It's either I fight and confront the lion, maybe I take this pen and blow on it, or I fight with it, that's what I will fight, or I, fight. I run away. It's either two things. You either fight or, in that particular case, I'm doing biology lesson. This is the activity that this particular organism called Mr. Elias is doing now. Teaching biology is the activity. A lion appears. In that particular case, lion is the stimulus. It's a predator, of course. A lion appears. I'm doing this activity. Of course, when lion appears, I am a living organism, and therefore I will detect that there is change that has happened in my environment. That thing is not right. That things are not normal here in class. And therefore I have to do something to save my dear life. I detect, yes, that there is lion around. So should I do? No, I will respond. My response will be, I will choose that. My response like this will be, of course, running away if it gives me space to go on, of course. Yeah, that's now lion being stimulus, the activity being our biology lesson, and then the response being now going away. I also draw an example using temperature. Sometimes we all know we have kids around, we have school children that during this COVID-19, sometimes when they get some time out of their busy schedule, they go to the playground and play. And these people do not, they don't go with time, and they just play as long as they are energetic, as long as everyone is, yes? And therefore sometimes they start playing around 5 p.m. in the evening, they continue playing, yes, do this, do that, do this, do that. The sun sets and they don't know how to stop. But when darkness comes, of course, that is change. When darkness comes, of course, they will not be able to see each other, they will not be able to see the ball, and they will have to stop their activity. The activity they were doing is playing the ball, playing. And therefore, the stimulus in that particular case is changes in the intensity of light. Yes, there was light around, there was a sun that was giving them enough light, they would be able to see themselves, they were able to see the ball, they were able to focus and see the goal posts, shoot, and probably score a goal, but no, that could not happen. So what they have to do is to adjust themselves, and therefore, when darkness comes, that changes the light, they will also respond by doing that, by stopping whatever they've been doing. That means they stop playing. That is change in activity by living organism. These small creatures have been busy doing their activity, playing something. What stopped them from doing their activity? Changes in the variation of light intensity. What is that now? Changes in the variation now becomes stimulus. And I say stimulus is changes in the conditions of the environment that make an organism change its activity. Now change in the variation of light make these organisms to stop whatever they have been doing. That is playing, of course. Sometimes they start playing around 8 a.m. in the morning, 8 a.m. in the morning, start doing this and two things, and they continue playing as time goes, the sun becomes hotter, and the temperature goes up, the temperature becomes hotter and hotter and hotter, everyone sweats, of course, dehydration, and they could not do, and they will feel like it is too hot, we need to go and probably rest. In that particular case, what is changing their activity is thermal variation, changes in temperature. In that particular case, changes in temperature becomes stimulus. Whatever they have been doing, stopping what they have been doing now becomes, of course, the response. Yeah, I'm still doing some drawing as many examples as possible so that students will not be able to confuse what stimulus is with a response with a sensitivity. Sometimes, of course, in the playground, a passerby will pass there, as a passerby and you are just there, you will see a ball rolling and coming toward you with a high velocity are about to hit your head. Then what do you do? Just to wait for the ball to come and hit you? Of course, no. You have to do something. When you see a ball coming, you use your eyes, you perceive, you have received that there is a ball coming and it is going to hit you. Therefore, you have to do something. Either you pack the ball, if not that, you do something so that you miss it. So those changes that you're doing, moving your head away from the path or away from the direction of the ball, that is the change. In that particular case, the ball is the stimulus. The changes you are doing by either moving your head sideways to avoid hitting is the response. It's the response. Yeah. We can probably add as many examples as possible, Yeah. As many examples as possible. Probably I will give you the last example. But before I give you the last example, let me give you the last two. Of course, the last two terms to define. For I have that was response, and then I have receptors. What is a receptor? Receptor, these are organs of the body that perceive stimulus from the environment. These are basically the sense organs. These organs are basically the sense organs. Okay. Number 5, I have effectors. Effectors bring about the desired response. Bring about this one. Receptors bring about the desired response. This bring about the desired response. And then lastly, I have the word coordination, and this is the last time I'm defining coordination. What's coordination? That's it. Coordination is the working. Coordination is the working together. Coordination is the working together of different parts of the body. Of the different parts of the body, in an orderly and organized manner. Good. So, sorry. Receptors. Of course, the changes of the environment, our body has to receive. Our body has to perceive and accept those changes from the environment. Those parts of the body that are responsible for receiving, perceiving those parts, all those changes in the environment, is what we are calling receptors, as the name suggests. They are the ones that are receiving. If it's temperature, it is changing in the temperature, it is these organs that receive. If it is change in the variation in light intensity, it is these organs that will detect. Yes? If it is a change in the, for example, there is noise around, or there is soft music around, or there is noise around, of course, it is also these receptors that will perceive them from the stimulus. So what I'm saying is that receptors, these are organs of the body that perceive or that receive stimulus from the environment. For example, these are basically the sense organ. When I say the sense organ, I mean the skin. Yes, skin is sensitive to pain, skin is sensitive to pressure, sensitive to touch, sensitive to cold, sensitive to hotness. Yeah, it's sensitive. Then the tongue also is sensitive. That it will inform our body if this substance is salty, saline, sour, bitter, or sweet. And then we have also the ear that perceives sound waves. We have the eye that perceives, of course, that perceives light, something like that. Effectors. We said when we receive a stimulus, we need to respond. Then those parts of our body that bring about, that elicit, that bring about the desired response is what we are calling effectors. And basically, these are the body muscles and glands. I don't want to discuss, they will come by themselves sometimes somewhere in the topic. Coordination. Coordination. Well, part of our topic is reception, response, and coordination. We say reception is the receptors receiving stimulus from the environment. When we receive them, different parts of our body have to work together in an organized manner so that we bring about the desired response. So the working together of different parts of the body, in this particular case, the working together of the receptors, the working together of the transmission system, the neurons, the sensory neuron, the motor neuron, and the linear neuron, the working together of the central nervous system, that is the brain and the spinal cord, the working together of the effectors around, those are the muscles. This is what we call coordination. And when their function is synchronized, of course, we can be able to get a desired response. Yeah, these are the terms that I wanted to define, but I will say the last example. Somewhere you came from school and you come home, drop your bag somewhere, but again, as you pass around the kitchen, you get the aroma or the sweet scent of nicely cooked food. Yes? When you get the smell of a nicely cooked food with the spices you like most, what happens? Of course, you will start salivating. No, I'm not saying the food. You will start, of course, salivating. Like as you see, of course, you'll be very busy salivating in preparation to prepare yourself for that particular food. Those are some of the things. In that particular case, what made you to salivate is the sweet aroma of the food. That sweet aroma from the food is the stimulus. What happens now when you get the sweet of the food? Of course, it is a normal situation that everyone salivates for a well-cooked food. That one now, the salivation that we are doing is the response now we are making. Food, or as we say, is the stimulus. The salivation is, but how do you receive? Through your nose. In that particular case, your nose becomes the receptor. In that particular case, your nose is the receptor. The food is the stimulus. Your nose is the one receiving that particular stimulus from the environment. The response you are making, is the salivation. But again, we talked about effectors. Effectors are the organs that bring about the desired response. In that particular case, who is producing the response, or the salivation? Of course, it is the salivary glands, the mandibular gland, the parotid gland, and the sublingual gland. Those are what we are calling now effectors. Yeah, those are what we are calling effectors. For the case of the lion I've been talking about, the lion is the stimulus. My eyes have seen them, and therefore they are the receptors. The response, of course, will be running away or moving away from this harmful organism. How was that possible? How did I manage to get out? It is through contraction and relaxation of my body muscles. In that particular case, the effectors will be muscles. So generally, for you to understand a topic, you always need to understand the introductory part. Those are the definitions of the terminologies that are important in this particular topic. I will want to stop here. In our next lesson, inshallah, we will take from here and then build up our lesson on what we have discussed today. Thank you for your time. Revise well. Keep safe. Stay home. Thank you.